I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net, and today we got Meg. Today we got Spreezy and Force Ghost Rob on the set of Three's Company, but from what was it called? Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. I recognize the background. I saw that shit in the theater. It's good stuff. Yeah,
I like that Chris is here. I like Chris.
I like Chris.
You know what's funny about Chris is the one story about him that really stuck in my brain for some reason was his story about a date he went on.
Oh, well, we still only got that.
It is the best, though. I mean,
it was good.
Getting catfished by a little person is kind of funny. I mean, you know, we could all agree it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Is that?
I've been on a date since. That's just scarred me. Like, I'm too scared to go out.
Hey, I went on a date with a beautiful girl, and I was like really into her, and then a snake bit her face, and it wouldn't let go, and there was blood in it. It was her pet. I didn't know to pull the snake off to kill the snake, and it was just a bad night. And then she was like crying, and then she like crawled up on my lap and went to sleep, and I stayed there with her for 2 hours, and I was like, I'm really bored, and she doesn't have a TV. I want to go. So I like moved her, and I got to my car. When I got to my car, I got a text message going, "You son of a bitch, how could you leave me after what I went through and all this stuff?" And I was just like, them's the rope. Sometimes you get catfished by a little person. Sometimes a snake bites a lady's face. We just got to roll with it.
Wait, Jason, I'm no Australian, but was this snake a trouser snake, and was it yours?
No, that would have been a good date. This was the worst date I ever went on. So, yeah.
That's messed up. I'm sorry that happened. Sorry about it.
My worst date ever started talking to another dude and was playing darts with him, and I just left them there.
Hey, you know what?
I just went. And since I didn't have a cell phone, no one could ghost or complain or, I was that guy. It's like, I'm not owning a phone. I hate phones.
Yeah.
I didn't get a phone till 2010. I held out for the longest time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Spreezy's got Pershing glasses on, so I think we're ready to start reviewing the episode.
Oh, do we have to?
So I made a slideshow. Here we go.
Slide.
Okay, here we go. So yeah, we open with actually, in my opinion, the true ending of the last episode. They just kind of like, we're like, you know what? Let's put that onto the other episode. That way it's more action packed. And then they're like, yeah, it's a good idea. I bet you that's what happened, but that's just a guess. But
Bespin is being cheated in the live chat.
Okay, what's Bespin saying? Chris out here banging Jawas like Pelimoto.
Hey, Chris. Say, last night I rewatched the last episode with the wifey because she hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah,
and I was putting it off because I was like, I don't want to sit through this again. And so we watched it. And some things don't play as long as they felt the first time around, but it clearly looks like he was dragged underwater in the end of the last episode. My wife even asked me at the end because I didn't say anything to her. I don't preface, or I'm just curious to see what the reaction is from a normal person, not like me, the psycho.
Yeah.
And she goes, did he just fall, or did he get dragged? I'm like, well, he had to get dragged, right? Because like, look how far down she has to go with a rocket pack. Like it's an incredibly long distance. And in this one, he's like, I just fell. I'm calling bullshit. like, this is weird, dude. This is some weird writing, man. Like,
no, I don't think so. I think that it's meant to give ambiguity between both characters, which is what we deal with right here. She's like, he thinks that's what happened. What the confusion is, he believes it, so it's real enough that maybe it's plot, maybe it's like plot heavy in that way, but it's like he believes that's what happened. She tricks him right here. He's like, oh, I thought I thought there was another.
I'm just saying the execution of this is I don't know, man.
But his confusion is the same as the audience's, essentially. But she knows what happened.
He has a rocket pack too. I don't know.
No, he took it off. He took off his
clothes. Why did he get knocked out?
That only Bo-Katan saw it, and she's just not telling anyone.
That's 100% what happened. That is without a doubt.
How did he get knocked out underwater if he just fell down? It's water. Like
he didn't just fall down.
So he was
dragged down. He goes. He steps into the water, goes in deeper than it thinks, and then just goes boom. It's something like pulls him down, slams him down onto the floor. But it's he's knocked out. He gets
So the mythosaur has little hands, like T-Rex hands. Like,
well,
does it
that's
have,
what
like,
that's
little-
what I said on Santa's show. On Santa's show yesterday, I said that's the whole thing. Is if you the actual suspension of disbelief is, and from what we think the creature looks like, does it have little tentacles that grabbed him? You know, it doesn't. Did he do it with his mouth? Because we think that would have hurt him. But anyways, I think it's meant to be more of a mystical, truly a mystical experience. I think what's going on here plot wise is the Mandalorians have lost their way for centuries, maybe, I don't know, for quite some time. And then the mythosaur retreats because this is a mythosaur. It's mythical. This is their version of the Force, you know, so to speak. And so everybody's eradicated. The planet is sort of cleansed. A pure person shows up in the water. And what happens when that happens? The mythosaur comes back. And then Bo-Katan it goes in there, and then she's the one who pulls him out. Obviously, I don't think it was trying to kill him. Maybe it was even trying to lure her down there, sort of like the rabbit down the hole kind of thing, you know. And then she comes out knowing this knowledge, but she's all in the subtitles. You see anything down there? And he's like, "Oh, I don't know. I think I just, I've fallen and I can't get up."
She's messing with him.
She knows. No, she's being a withholding bitch is what she's being. No, I'm kidding. But she's manipulating the situation to her advantage in some way.
That's what I think. And I also think she wants to tame the mythosaur for herself.
Yes.
Because I said that in my breakdown, but people were telling me like she's in denial. I don't think she's in denial. They wouldn't have done that pan across the covert at the end where we see the mythosaur on the wall. She knows exactly what she saw, and she knows what it means.
Yeah, and I interpreted the first episode when we first watched it to be like that was her come to Jesus moment. But in actuality, it's more of a process for her than I thought it was going to be, because she like gets to the covert. She's looking at the thing. She's realizing, holy shit, they blew up my house and I'm in a cult. But she's also like, what if this is actually real? Like, what if they're right? What if this stuff makes sense? I kind of don't think she's going to be a long hauler with them.
The problem I have is it's all said and they're showing you it, but I don't feel what she or get the sense that I'm thinking what she's thinking. I'm not in her head as the average person. I don't have 20 years of Clone Wars cartoons, right, to like explain all this. So to me, this is like lore bait instead of like fan baiting or clickbaiting. Like it's like lore bait. That is lore eggs, whatever you want to do. But now they're using it to like fill in. There's a difference between rewarding people for having read something and getting like a payoff to like, oh no, you need to see all that to know what the fuck's going on. So this feels more like the Iron Man 2 stuff of like, you don't know what this is, and you don't know what that is.
I don't think that's what this is though.
So like the idea that in this episode that, you know, hey, I don't have a family, we're all disconnected, but now I'm sort of, or I can be connected in some way. We're not really in her head with all that. It's like the last episode, something else the wife asked, she's like, was all this stuff like, is this like really fleshed out? Is this like real lore? And I'm like, yeah, it was in the cartoon. Like you gotta like it would have helped us seen, you know, that scene, the stuff when she was a kid. She's like, I flew here when I was a kid and stuff, like in the middle of a battle. Like, yeah, we don't need to know that right now. Like,
I know all that stuff. I don't think that's what's happening here. Is that what's happening here is that she's going through this. They've set it up very easily in the first season. I'm not like you. Your cult sucks dick. Your cult fucked up shit. I don't like you. And then now she's like, but she's seeing that she's been like left by those people that have no way. These people have a way. And so, but she's going to have to come to, I think to me, it seems clear she's going to have to decide if their bullshit way is the way, or if she's like her own self-actualized ruler and leader.
Yeah, her moping in a castle for 3 episodes, doing nothing is the way, right?
Not 3, but there was one episode, Rob, and she got up off her ass.
She's moping before the first episode, so there's a bonus episode of moping.
Well,
just a mope of 0 moping episodes.
They didn't make you.
I think you're
they're doing nothing.
A huge fact. She was able to complete 2 Angry Birds games on her throne. She did not do nothing.
Flappy Birds. Man,
and it's not even on.
It wasn't
it's not
the same.
It's not even on the Apple Store anymore. She had to find the actual APK and load it herself. So To be fair.
Jason, nerd.
Yeah. So then, they're like, hey, this episode's going to be a weird one. Let's add some TIE interceptors and do a cool chase. And Rob, did you see the Batman shot?
I saw the Batman. Yeah,
you saw the
Like everything else, they really make sure you know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Look, the visual effects here are fantastic. ILM, this season, they're bringing the A game.
That company might have a future.
Well, I don't know, man. It's a bit, I think spending no money and letting AI do everything for you is the future, right? Like
I say they put the ilm in film. ILM.
When are we gonna get TIE fighters with 6 fingers, Jason? That's what I want to know. Right?
give it time.
Can I just say how good the first 10 minutes was? Like I was really into it. The first 10 minutes, like wow, this is Star Wars for me, and then it all went downhill from there. So
it goes downhill for you, huh? Okay, well we're
I have the
getting
opposite
there.
opinion.
Really?
I find the Star Wars of Star Wars boring, and I liked the entire middle part of the episode.
The 40 minutes of Pershing.
I want to go back to something I've said the last 2 episode reviews, Jason, and it's that I told you I felt there needs to be a B story going on in here somewhere. Like we're just hanging on people. We're hanging on Mando for periods where you need to cut away and then come back, so it feels like more time has passed in his story. Because when he lies down, he gets up, gets knocked out, wakes up, gets right back up, goes. It's like, yeah, I mean that's a complete episode, but like you need a little bit more pacing for this sort of stuff. So unless it's a movie where you got to like move it along, like whatever. So this episode, it felt like the last 2 episodes of B story were all saved for 1 episode. It's like that you could cut back and forth from this stuff. And we'll get from the Blade Runner, because there's a Blade Runner sequence, right? Where he's talking to the robot. Like you could have started that off. And then the 3rd time you come back to this episode and it's changed for him, right? Like there's just a different way to pace all these ideas.
I think that the last episode and the Mando bits from this one were probably part of that story. And then were brought over to this episode to make it a sandwich because they were afraid that the general Mando audience wouldn't accept an Andor-esque story in there. So that was like their idea. I don't think I agree with it.
But if they had taken the Pershing stuff, because we don't have a villain so far in season 4. We just don't have an outright villain, right? We haven't seen this yet. So but coming is, if you have the Persian story and I don't know her name, the Gideon officer.
I can't remember. Kane.
Yeah. All right, Kane. So
Candy
if
Kane.
you get Persian and Kane, like if you start layering that as a B story in the first episode and then bits in the second episode, by the 3rd episode then it comes together. Then you know what I mean? Like I'm
all or nothing on it. I'm all or nothing on it. I say you take those bits and you put them in the last episode, or you interweave it. But you don't do.
I say interweave it because
the bookend
just
thing
compressing all of it into
weird.
Like a 40-minute sequence is like, look, it's trying to take 4 episodes of what they did in Andor and give it in 1 episode and going, see, same thing. Like, no, not the same thing. Like I see what you're doing, but not the same thing. Hey, space opera.
Yeah, and then but anyways, when you get into this to the Pershing like story now, which is where we move after like the action sequences, we get into like something. It's weird for me because when I liked it, it felt Andor-esque, but then in a way it wasn't Andor good, and the acting wasn't Andor good.
No.
So it kind of in a way proved to me that it's better to be all Andor or all Mando, but trying to be do
your
a
own
little
voice.
But
it's Favreau trying to like.
But it's been a question. It's been a question that we've had. Is like, what is the happy medium? Can you do a little bit of what Andor does and like pepper? You know what I mean? Pepper it through. And I think that tonally you can't, which is why they didn't interweave these things.
Well, there's things you could do that mitigate some of it. So like there's things that they do with this Persian stuff and it's not just this episode, it's been the last 2 episodes specifically, where they say things in exposition that we're looking at, and then they say them like, okay, like when Persian sees the biscuits, he's like, oh, and the biscuits or something. You're like, yeah, we know, man. Like, or when he gets to the train, he's like, we're at the end of the train. No shit, we can see. Like, it's just, that's not the thing. It's just stuff like that. There's just stuff that's being said that we're looking at, and then he's saying it. You're like, yeah, man, like we know we're looking at it. So it's just that kind of writing is not what Gilroy does. It's not what Gilroy like gets the character up in the morning. You see them like, close up on like, oh, they're cleaning stuff. They're looking out. And then they hear, and then they go out and they're making breakfast. And then there's other stuff going on. And like, it puts you in the headspace of that character. This is not that. This is more like ABC television where, oh, look, and we're seeing the character and they're doing, and then they say, like in an old episode of Buffy when they would have Buffy do ADR, so you clearly got what was going on.
Buffy sucks.
We got what was going on. You don't need to do that.
I think all of this works, though. I think this works for The Mandalorian. I think
Megan, I'm not picking on you.
Okay,
I'm not picking on you, but I think if you like the Attack of the Clones, this worked for you. Because this is like, this is not as bad, but it's in the same vein. Right.
But you know how I see it? I think The Mandalorian is chocolate and Andor is cherry, and sometimes you have 2 scoops and the flavors work.
Right.
As Mr. Miyagi says, good karate, bad karate. Karate so-so, get hit from both sides, right? Like pick one.
Mando sandwich. But go on, Meg. I mean, did you have anything? Were you saying something else? I'm sorry.
No, I think that's basically the gist.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, the acting wasn't as good as Andor, but the scope of Coruscant and making it look as cinematic as Andor did works really well for what The Mandalorian is leading to. If they're trying to be like, Gideon's escaped, and that was like some rumors amongst the residents of the Amnesty Project that Gideon's escaped, and they need to build it up if they're bringing him back, because otherwise it just feels like every time Gideon returns, it's in the same sort of way. And this was just different, and it stands out as like, okay, this is the galactic, I don't want to say galactic capital because that's Chandrilla, but the center of the galaxy. And you've got Dr. Pershing, who was very important in the first 2 seasons. We know what he's been doing. This humanized him, gave him a different sort of spin. And then we have Katie O'Brien's character, who, I mean, we saw the betrayal coming, but it was still a bit shocking the way it happened. And then you're like, okay, well, she probably still works for Gideon then. And now we have this question of what's going on behind the scenes away from this, the New Republic, instead of it just being, because I feel like the volume always looks the same, no matter which planet it is, but this was just different, and I like it.
Well, they've got a bigger scope of a volume, so they got a crane, they're able to move stuff around now. But I would say that what you're talking about is plot, Meg, and what I'm talking about is themes. And the ideas that they have here, that, okay, the theme is that we've seen Coruscant and Andor under Imperial control and what that looked like. And now it's under New Republic control. But guess what? It's like the same people, but they just got new jobs. But it's not as clean as you would think. Everyone is still watching you. You still have to check in. You still have to. It's a passive control. It's not an aggressive control. But it's still not. Is it really freedom? Like, what is it? And so there is these themes that are there. They're just executed so quickly and in a sort of sophomorish way that, like, I get when someone says, "Hey, this is cool. I like it. I'm finally seeing the things I want to see." And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but there's a way to do this that isn't so like. I mean, when you have a guy look at what's Akbar's species? I'm brain farting for a second.
Mon Calamari.
A Mon Calamari, sorry. Look at, and then it goes, it's a trap. Like, it's just not the place for that in like a being tortured scene. Like that's
Rob,
not.
Don't you think The Mandalorian is sophomoric in its approach? It's always been very straightforward. It's always been very simple to follow.
And it's getting when simple in that when you got a character who isn't speaking and we're kind of walking with them, I think that works great. The Gideon stuff was not good. And I complained about that in season 2 quite a bit. Like,
I think this Pershing TED Talk to me says that this story probably took a turn at some point, because I don't think because it's like I feel like there's two kind of ideas going on here at the same time, and the first is like I'm a successfully integrated person, mixed with a story about how he's integrating, and it's at the same time. That's what I found to be very strange. Like he's like getting like to his apartment, but he's also giving the TED Talk. I feel like there was like literally different ideas going on at once. I think something changed, and they like refocused the story at some point, but they wanted to do this, or they were already like deep into this, like having filmed it and made it or something. Because that's the part about the story that I'm actually like the most critical of, that I actually think this is actually rather stupid. This, yeah, like if this guy goes south, if this guy becomes an Imperial tomorrow or shoots up the office saying Tarkin lives, you end up with like this TED talk from the guy with all these people, and it was very strange. But
Jason, can I suggest something?
Yeah,
I think, because I completely agree with you, and there's two different angles for this scene. I think the original idea for this scene is Pershing pleading to the people in some kind of sick public judging display why he should be allowed to work for the Amnesty Project after he was an Imperial. And then the second idea is like, I'm already on the project, here's why I can better organ cloning and transplants and things like that. But the two ideas do seem very different, which is why this inconsistency
is to catalog, like, it's like a Cyril menial job. He's not doing any of this stuff.
Well,
I'm not saying even working with cloning. He's not even like helping little kids put Band-Aids on or something.
But yeah, that's going to be his perspective. But remember, it's ultimately a giant head game. He's in a test, and he's going to fail it. Like, this is all a setup. And what's her name?
That's why I said. That's why I don't mind a situation where you're showing how different is the New Republic, right? Or any giant government that doesn't, that wants to like entrap anybody. There's a way to show this that I think grays things a little bit more, which I appreciate. I just think that the execution, it's like, is she torturing? Is she trying to turn him into something?
Operation Paperclip. In real life, they'd be like, "Hey, you did a lot of bad shit. Come do it for us now." That's what would really happen.
Become president.
This is way more optimistic. Mayor. This is way more optimistic than reality. They'd be like, "Hey,
it feels like someone who watched Andor and didn't study history." That's all I'm saying. Like whoever wrote it said, with history. I listen to the podcast. I can write that. And you're like, why don't you actually go do the research before you do all that? Like. So I'm sorry, it's just how it comes across, but to me.
And then right here we have the very first sign that Padme had a secret love child with Paulo, because his mom's heart gave out. She died of a broken heart. You guys think about it. No?
Yeah.
Meg? Yeah. No? Okay.
Oh,
but what's love?
You know what makes this even better?
What's
Doesn't he say? What did he say happened to his mom's homeworld? Because could that apply to Naboo?
I don't know. Naboo seemed like it was okay, because like they weren't. I don't know though. Maybe, but but old man Pershing though. I mean, yeah, like us, a lot of this is just weird, right? So I mean, it like I liked it. I thought I was intrigued the whole time, but it ultimately, like, it feels like a lot of it feels like three ideas are coming in at us at once, and it's like the ambiguity of what is going on leads us just to like dismiss it and move on. But I feel like this feels like a little bit needed a second, third draft on this one. It was a little first draft.
Jason, for me. I know we're probably going to come on to this, but did you also appreciate that Dr. Pershing listens to Audible before bed?
I did. And there's a couple of meta moments. Rob hit on the one with Admiral Akbar. This is a trap. And then the come to the dark side, we have cookies, right?
Oh yeah.
I've heard from many people, as has Mr. Bulletin, that Favreau fucking loves memes, like loves them, does stuff in the shows hoping that they will become them.
The sad part about that, Jason, is I don't follow that meme, so I remember that now, but I didn't. It wasn't the sad part is there is a thing in the military where you got guys who are like, man, I fucking hated that shit, but you're like, I do miss the pound cake and the MREs. You guys say, oh, it's the pound cake. You're like, yeah, that shitty, stale fucking brick of. You get this food where you hate it when you have to eat it, but you do miss it. And so there is an element of like real truth to this,
Oh yeah.
And I just wish it was. I just wish it was written by people that were on Andor and not Mando. It's just that's the bummer, Like it could be even 10 times better than what you're saying now. Like
Yeah, and we see basically
I'm Dr. DNA.
no,
Jurassic Park, right?
If that's where your head's going on that, you're actually overlooking the huge elephant in the room.
Snoke.
This is it's Palpatine, yeah. Palpatine, Snoke.
Yeah,
however
I
you
just
want to look
don't
at
care.
it.
What you're talking about a movie that doesn't exist to me, so I could give two shits.
No, that's you could go
but
and
his
go like
face falls off, so none of this works. Like he still has like a fucking dick nose that just falls off. He's got bony fingers and
right.
He looks worse. He looks like he came from Vulcanvania. So how great does this cloning technology work when you're a walking zombie? Like,
well, Rob, we don't like shows because the bad guys win necessarily, right? I mean, this era is about mitigation. No, he doesn't win. He gets killed
until the very end, but you know,
but he loses in the end, just like Palpatine. But anyways, yeah. But this is like right here is a big answer that we've had. This is answering a question we've had about Pershing the entire time. Like, yeah, what is he actually doing? Like we had assumptions, and the assumptions were largely correct, but it was still a bit of hearsay. It was still a bit of it could have gone a different way, you know. And right here, but yeah, combining multiple strands to create replicas is like where his mind's at. And like the thing about Pershing in this moment, when you like listen to his presentation though, where he's flawed is it's not simply about like cloning an organ. It's not about making a heart transplant for mom. He wants to make the ultimate mom who cannot die, who will never get cancer, who will never have any sicknesses, that, you know, he wants to make a pure blood. It's very Nazi-like in a way, almost, person. And so when I was hearing this, I was like, this guy, he seems cool, but he is ultimately a fucking monster. And
thank you for saying that, Jason. It seems like everyone was saying Dr. Pershing's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's not. He's twisted. He may have started his, you know, scientific experiments with a very innocent mindset, but he is super twisted. He doesn't care about the ethics of it. He literally tells Elia Kane, the ethics of cloning are complicated. As you say, he's got aspirations much bigger. It's why the New Republic wouldn't allow that kind of bioengineering, but he wants to do something.
It's like the
crazier
same
because
though, Meg.
He's like the mad scientist.
Here's my take on it, though. My take on it is everyone in this universe at this point in time should be, you made a whole fucking army that took over the whole fucking universe with this technology. Fuck off. Like, no,
that's what they're saying.
No, people are shaking his hands afterward. We liked you. Remember, we wanted to be in the Clone Wars
those
too,
were
but I was an aristocrat.
Those were the war profiteers that we see on in episode 8 at the casino. Those are the.
I don't know if I see.
And one of them, Jason, one of those aliens is on the train with them. That big guy was in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
His boss is nice to him. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't want to see anyone being mean to him. You know,
but
see him being paranoid.
That's the point that it's trying to push. And like Pershing though, it's like the, you know, his intentions are good. He's just not correct. It's like the saying, like, hell's paved with good intentions or something like that. And it's like that's where he's coming at this from, I think. And so right here he meets these are the assholes. And look at this fucking guy. Oh, I would have served. They're like, oh yeah, the Empire, it's same as the Republic, same as, like, they don't, to them, they're elites. It doesn't matter what happens to the rest of the galaxy. They're not the ones who are fighting the wars. They're not the ones who are suffering. It's Pershing, his mom, who died probably because they had shit healthcare on their planet. Not them. They're fine.
They're TGIF Perrin.
Yeah.
You know
yeah, it is. No, Perrin and this guy have definitely had their balls touched before. Let's just be honest. It's happened.
I've seen her before. What was she in? I've seen her in something recently.
Oh yeah,
that actress. Yeah, I've seen her in something. It might have been the Gilded Age or something. I can't.
Yeah,
I've seen her.
Yeah, but look at this little fez.
I like fezzes.
And then right.
Has a fez.
So I'm probably reading into it a bit, but what I found interesting about like the setup of the scenes is that, like, he's not like, you know, my name is Doug, and, you know, my name is Jerry. They're all using like L252s and stuff like that. And a part of me feels like maybe that was a kind of a test to see if he would say, like, you know, my name is Pershing. Like, what's your name? because he's so indoctrinated into that imperialistic lifestyle that he is still FN 1287 essentially, as far as the system goes, and that's what they're all using those numbers. I don't know if it was a test that he was supposed to break out of, or if they're all just still kind of in it, in that system still, or what. But I thought that was interesting because, like, realistically, like when 4 people sit down, in an apartment complex where it's like new people, whatever, they don't use their badge numbers from work or something.
Yeah, this is one of those ideas again where I'm like, okay, I get when you're in an imperial prison and they give you a number. So there's an idea that we've accepted you in the Republic, but you're not really using your name. You're not a human. Now you're a number to us. There's an inverse here, but the execution of it is like, I get what they're doing. They're doing all the things. And if you wrote down a list of things to do right, they're doing it. But the execution of it is very surface level. I don't know how to, this the difference between, we can each make a pizza and put the same ingredients into it. Look, I made the pizza. Like, yeah, but that pizza over there from New York is brilliant, and this pizza from Sbarro's, it's got the same fucking ingredients. What's the difference? Like, it's execution. So I don't know, man. Like, also, when they shot stuff like I'd say the volume work on this is pretty good, but like there's still a lack of atmosphere.
Well,
when on Andor, when they were outside, you could tell they were outside.
Because they're there. Yeah.
Like, you're right. Like, and this makes a big difference. Like, you can dress a setup all you want. It still looks... look, it's like the difference... I like Batman 89. That's as much as you can dress a setup before you may as well just shoot the fuck outside, right? Like,
I would have let Pershing's hair grow a little bit for this season, and I would have turned on some fans. Like in a lot of these scenes, but they all have very tight, jailed, tight hair, which is how they kind of get away with it. Like, well, yeah, it wouldn't be blowing because it's, but in reality, there is subtle movement to it.
Think about how cold it feels when Cyril's just walking to his mom's house.
Like, but
the feeling of that,
compared
to here, like,
well, yeah, obviously, and it's like it's way better. But it's like in this setting right here, they went and did probably the same amount of visual effects shots for Coruscant as we got in the prequel films in an episode of a TV show, and it looks pretty good though. Like overall,
yeah, I'm not complaining about
for TV
compositing.
It's very good.
Yeah, for a lot of movies, I'm just saying that it. There's a lack of atmosphere, right? And I'm not bitching on, but if you even think on the last episode when they went to Mandalore, they wet the streets, right? When they're walking out on the planet surface and R5 is going to go take a sample and stuff, like they actually wet the floor and then they CG'd, put a little composite, some mist and shit blowing across the ground. Here it's like it's got to be windy on Coruscant all the freaking time, dude. They're way up in the air,
The buildings block the breeze, Rob. Deal with it.
Buildings create funnels of... What are you talking about?
No, you haven't been there. I've been there. You ever been on Star Tours too?
First time I went to Frankfurt, had my whole fucking pommes frites just got blown right out my freaking hands. I was like, nah, I don't
hurt her. Frankfurter.
They're at the top of the highest peak. They're way up there. The wind, I don't know, man. Like it's odd.
So Rob wants a Coruscant wherever people are blowing around going, whoa!
I want them to feel like they wear robes for a reason, and they travel in cars and in places for a reason. When they're out walking along a promenade in an open space, it's not as hospitable.
Rob wants to a price point that we get one every 5 years. Go on.
I think Lucasfilm need to start doing a much better job with background characters. They all look the same. Every show.
I'm not applying science to Star Wars, Santa. I'm applying previous Star Wars to Star Wars, Santa. But Santa's like defending green screens, and then he goes and complains about the Attack of the Clones. Like, this is awfully weird.
No,
it matters.
I would say it's actually consistent with the prequel films in that way. So
not good. Not good.
Well, at this point, if that's where you're at with it, we're kind of deep past that now, and it's but whatever. Right here, everybody drinks cum. Do you like that part, Rob? Did you?
I thought that was disturbing.
Oh man, look! Of all the things, this is a production designer problem. And I actually went and looked, and it's the same production designer that has been on Mando for all 3 seasons and Boba Fett. So it's weird. I don't know where these are just personal decisions. The way I took it was like, if they're all reminiscing about things they miss about when they're military service, if it was like some kind of moonshine they were making that was like something that they can't get anymore that only the Empire made, so they were making their own brew. There's a way to do that.
Well, you're right, Rob, or they could just drink cum.
They could, I know.
I mean, let's just be real.
This right here. If you like Favreau likes memes, this is the ultimate meme.
I mean, think about it. You know,
they knew exactly what they were doing with this scene. They knew we were going to do anything the minute we saw it.
Cum. Yeah, but I won't do that.
They should have added like a bit of comedy to it, where the guy gives, comedy. The guy gives Pershing a glass, and Pershing, what is this? And then the guy's like, I made it myself. Wink.
Yeah.
Also, the guy in the middle sitting there, isn't that like Steve Buscemi's hot like younger brother, right? Like if there was like a pretty Buscemi, that'd be the dude right down there. Like,
so the line what I would have written was, "Come on, guys, let's bust out the good stuff. We're not a fucking Jedi hanging out on a secret mountain drinking titty milk.
Come and listen to
let's
some
drink
jizz,
cum,
Jason. Let's drink cum and listen to jizz." Right?
Yeah.
Like, let's.
So
yeah, I like it.
If Jason was writing Star Wars, he'd have way too many puns. He'd have someone look at the camera and go, "It's not like the Empire's going to strike back."
Right. And then
I like how we're following
here's
the adventures of a science officer, and Star Wars Santa doesn't like me applying science to Star Wars. Like that. That's my
what I would have wrote Meg is. That guy right on the left, he would have shaken his glass, like kind of like swashed it around, and he would have went, "Something's coming." You know what I mean? Like he'd had a feeling.
A storm is coming.
Storm is coming. And then anyways, it's very clear that they are just, seeing how indoctrinated is this guy. Will he drink cum? Yeah, he still will. He's in it. He's brainwashed. So
in public.
And then right here. Come to the dark side. Boxu. We got cookies happens.
Yeah. And this is a good time to mention our Boxu sponsors. Oh, we don't have one.
No. Here's where you can upload the picture to PershingFeetPics.com. If that's your thing, PershingFeetPics.com. All the Pershing feet pics.
Running to the, I do get Boxu, by the way. They're fantastic service. So just letting you know. I do love it.
Jason, I may have been reading too much into this scene. But was the Imperial officer, what's her name? Elia Kane?
Mm-hmm.
Was she telling Pershing that he should eat her cookie?
Maybe, but honestly,
she eats her own cookie, Meg.
I'm reading the visual clues, and I don't think she's interested in him eating the cookie. Yeah.
I know what you're saying, Jason, but it was just for fun.
I've never seen a woman eat her own cookie before, but Joe Rogan would be impressed.
Hey.
You've not been on the exciting parts of the internet then, Rob?
Nope.
I have. Travel biscuits.
These labels remind me of? Remember the Chinese, there used to be that Chinese like pink wrapper cookie in the 80s that had like the little nut in the center, Jason? It was circle. Remember this? Like, did you ever get this? They had them every Asian restaurant.
With like the walnut, and it had like they were kind of orangey sometimes, but I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, those are good. I like those.
Yeah, me and Meg don't know. We're not that old.
Yeah, I mean,
we know.
The minute you said you eat cookies with nut in it, I had a different thought.
Oh, were you thinking about that time in Star Wars They'll Drink Cum?
Yeah.
Dude,
I prefer my
Santa have that one on his list of predictions, like the cum sequence. Like,
I have a question for you, you Americans. When they call them travel biscuits, do you imagine like a biscuit? Because here in the UK and in Australia, biscuit equals cookie. Like,
I think in biscuits and gravy. Whenever I hear that, like I hear like a biscuit.
Several years ago, Meg, they started putting Biscoff on all the planes out here. And I used to like really love it because I love Biscoff. And I was like, oh, I got Biscoff. And then I made a big deal out of my wife. And then it appeared in Knives Out. And that's when I knew we had full cookie. You know
who loves it?
Biscuit.
Nick from Bespin Bulletins podcast. He fucking loves that shit. I was like playing like video games with him the other day. And he's like, chomp, chomp, chomp. And I'm like, hey, man, can you fucking stop chomping in my ear? He's like, all over this Biscoff. And I was like,
I do like Irish shortbread biscuit too. It's pretty good. This is more of an Irish shortbread than a
funny story about that, Jason. Do you ever have it where someone doesn't realize their microphone is on? Because for like the for the first year of my MPhil, which is like a pre-PhD thing, we had like Zoom meetings quite regularly. And this one guy on the first meeting was very breathy, and it sounded like he was having an orgasm like constantly in his mouth. And he thought he was muted, and people were like, "Who is that?" And he's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm having my lunch." So
sometimes I just have lunch right on the show, Meg. I don't even care.
Yeah,
just
that did
annoy
happen.
some of our
Would you
viewers,
get right
who
up to the
cares?
microphone and start, going to town on it?
It was one step away from Leslie Nielsen and Naked Gun, except for he was eating. Yeah, it was pretty close. He's like, it tastes good.
Nice beaver.
Yeah,
This is a good shot. Look, the music on here annoyed the fuck out of me, though. This cheerful music, this was weird. Like,
this was meant to be weird. This is supposed to be perverse. I watched the episode twice, and the first time I was like, "What the fuck are they going for?" And then knowing the outcome and what's going on, they're literally eating popsicles like it's the fucking dream post Return of the Jedi era that the expanded universe people dreamed of for a few minutes. Like it is literally that, and it's like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not everything. Everything is still fucked. Everything's still sick.
That's why I said, like, there's these ideas that they're putting on a big show, but underneath it's just filled with the same people. Like their minds haven't changed any, right? Like, but then they're eating glow pops, and it's just you're just staring at it like, yeah, we're doing that now. Like,
I know I was of two minds on the glow pops. I'm like, the first part is, oh god, they just want to sell that at Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland, and here we go. Find a way to make a popsicle stick cost $10 and add a 99-cent popsicle on it. There we go. But at the same time,
she didn't look like she was enjoying the popsicle. Like she put it in her mouth for a minute, and then it was like she wasn't. I don't know how to say this without it sounding very wrong, but she wasn't into it. It was like just for half a second, and then she's like, "No, not for me."
Yeah.
Oh, hey George.
In there. Yeah. Thumb check. He. This was the last thing he pitched to us at the investors meeting was glow pops, and we got rid of them.
Hey. Yeah. All I'm gonna say is, if that's what their popsicles do, imagine what their butt plugs do. Just throwing it out there.
Oh well, that was the other thing he brought up. But, yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
I can answer that if you want, Jason.
Okay.
I've got a good theory. So you know that Republic show coming out.
Mm-hmm.
You know the one with the little Jedi.
Oh, what Skeleton Crew?
No, the High Republic one.
Oh yeah.
So you know that one species, that like blue Ewok species. They put those in the butt plugs. So when you put it in, they let that one out, and it claws away at the prostate until you know what.
Yeah, the old Richard Gere trick.
Yeah.
Just a theory.
A Marquand. Yeah, we call those Marquands.
Marquands.
Yeah, they crawl up your butt and roll around until you shit them out.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Jason misled us.
Back and watch Star Trek.
He told us this. Jason told us this episode was going to be called The Prostate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was wrong. Another one wrong.
Another one the way you're wrong, Jason.
Just want to say, when there's two white guys on this show only, it's far less sexual. Just putting that one out there.
Hey, but I've seen people like picking on this already, and I'm like, yeah, I think the people picking on it are literally misunderstanding it. They're writing the tweet in their head before they're actually interpreting the scene correctly and letting it play out.
I don't have a problem with the scene. There's a lot of good ideas here. I just think had this stuff been interplaced in between, a few episodes, it wasn't just one after. It isn't like 30 minutes of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like one scene after another, back to back to back. Had this been like cut in between some stuff, you could have been like, I don't like that B plot, but then it'll pay off when shit goes south. Like, this is a good idea, seeing like the only bit of fucking life led on Coruscant is like the tip of the Matterhorn. Essentially, it's like there's like a basketball court in that fucking thing.
Yeah,
apparently.
I think that's from the books, right? I think I read that.
Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that being a thing.
And I also think, like I said, I think he's being tested this entire time. Like, it's a test. Will he touch the fucking mountain? You know what I mean? Like, he's not supposed to do it. He's still breaking the law if he goes and does.
Yeah, he's like in a weird Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like, they're testing him, and he keeps failing every test. And then just arrest him already. If you don't like him, like.
I think a fair criticism of it is that she's a quadruple agent, basically. You know what I mean? She's like she's pretending to be their double agent,
Yeah.
But she's actually the agent of Gideon in the end. Like it's that's where you go like, what? Too dumb for this.
That's the part of Favreau. I'm like, I don't know if you're the best person at writing that sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, he wrote this one with a partner. Maybe, and this is where the other dude gets a writing credit for the first time. So maybe this is one where he needed help, But yeah, then we have this moment where we have him meet the robot the first time he goes through and gives the right answers, and then we have like the second time where he meets the robot, which is really close to the first time. I thought that they should have been edited apart. And then basically this is where he starts to actually like unravel that he is having problems with his coworkers, that he doesn't like them and
this should have just been the first scene we see of him in the first episode. He gets off, he gets ushered in through this, he's out of that detainment facility he said he was at before then, gets put into here, he's super happy to be there. And then by the third episode, not so happy to be here.
Well, end of the second act should have been he's seeming like he's a model guy. He does the TED talk, and then he gets convinced though they're not going to give you what you wanted. And then
after by the TED talk, he gets his new job, and it's that shitty job where he's doing nothing. And for like 2 episodes, he's doing nothing. You're like, this is, you know what I mean? Like, this is total fucking waste. This is not.
I wouldn't go that far, Rob. It's not. That's kind of hyperbolic. I mean, it's not that awful. It's just it could have used. I agree
but it's his point of view. I'm not telling people what to think. I'm telling you what the characters perceive. When a character perceives something to be a certain way, even if that isn't the way it is, that's how they perceive it. So if they're going to believe that, get us to see how or to feel what they're believing versus just telling us what they believe because they said it.
Yeah, I mean, I would have went a little bit further with some of this stuff too. Like in my version of this, Pershing would have had an ankle bracelet. He is essentially on work release.
Yeah,
he's not. You know what I mean? He's and therefore. There would have been something about having to get the ankle bracelet off in order to get out there.
But it glows. It glows like those pops. So when he's in bed, it's the only thing glowing in his room, and he can't get any sleep because there's fucking light.
He has to wear slippers to bed so he can sleep. But I thought this was a pretty good shot though for pulling out the Andor kind of thing and not really being the Andor kind of thing in actuality. Right. And then we had this giant puppet man that we were talking about earlier. I appreciate the big puppet man. That was pretty cool, but they did kind of overuse him because they made him. That's what always been one of the like the George Lucas a special effect without a story is a really boring thing, and the problem that most science fiction movies make is that they spend so much time trying to show you what they put in the background rather than just telling you the good story. And modern Star Wars does have to justify the expenditures to their corporate overlords, and they do those shots a bit much, and they do use the character a couple of times in an episode to justify it, and they don't listen to George Lucas enough on that front. But I'm just fucking happy we got a fucking puppet. It's not just some actor from LA who's like, hey, they actually built something.
And he doesn't have a goofy voice like we're going to find out later in this episode, right? He doesn't have a, how you doing? Oh, hello, you. We're going to the corn fair. Like,
yeah. And then
was I the only one that thought they were going to break out Gideon? Because I actually thought that they were on their way.
Well, that was our trailer. That was our trailer assumption originally, was that we see them in front of a Star Destroyer. We think, oh, they're going to steal that Star Destroyer and bust Gideon out in the same thing. And I actually question, knowing what they were doing here, that they sold that idea in the trailers to the audience, which was actually the more fun, easily accessible, not deeper at all, but the more easy, here's your cake kind of like fucking moment. I don't think that was wise. I think that was a bad idea on their part, because the idea that fans had was inherently more fun, like I said, but not as deep.
We're still going to see them break out Gideon, but I thought it was coming in this episode.
Well, there was some lines about Gideon that like something's gone on there, and so I don't know if we're going to.
He's already free.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see him getting broken out.
The co-workers who were drinking cum, they were saying that Gideon's already escaped, or word on the street is that he's escaped.
So you think the next time we see him, he'll be already escaped? Is that what you think? Maybe?
I think he's already somewhere else. Like, I think Jason's scoop about the Praetorian Guards, that's when we're going to see him next. He's already got his own little cloning setup, similar to Navarro somewhere, and there's proper protections in place.
And we also have, I believe it's not Thrawn's forces, which is what I kept getting asked, but we have at the beginning, they're attacked by the TIE interceptors, and like, this is a lot for a warlord.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing, or potentially, I'm under the impression that this season, in fact, I'm going to say I know, we're going to learn about the various Imperial factions and how they interplay. So with that said, I'm guessing that Gideon has gone maybe to the big boss, so to speak, like maybe to the Palpatine types or whatever the interim to that is, and he's being reinforced, and there's a reason for it because of what's going on.
So who broke him out then?
Yeah, that's how are they going to handle that? Is that going to be satisfactory? That's a good, huge, valid question. Are they going to show it? Are they going to do a flashback to how it happened? Or is this going to be like, I have returned? Aren't I a rascal? And you're going to be like, yeah.
He got out on a
Colonel.
technicality, Jason.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right.
Jason, are you saying that one of these clones is already alive?
What, you mean like Snoke?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't know. Like for all I know, he's just talking to. For all I know, he knows to go to Exegol. You know, I have no idea. I doubt it. But I mean, it's like or it's some kind of interim there, or the cultists are coming to him and, you know, supplying him or something like that. But I really don't get. I mean, from a logistical standpoint, that I'm way overthinking. I don't really understand how he goes from being that warlord in the beginning, if he is the one behind those attacks, to all of those TIE interceptors and all of those things. So I'm guessing that the most likely outcome is that beginning part is actually one of the different Imperial factions that is now coming after him, because maybe it's sort of like a 5 family situation. When you fuck with one of the 5 families, then they all kind of come on you because come at you because it's they're kind of all in the same boat there. If they all start falling, then it's going to be dominoes. That could be the case, but they're definitely setting it up like there's some kind of conspiracy thing kind of situation going on right now.
I have a really interesting theory, which connects to Battlefront and some of the other post-Jedi kind of lore. There were more Imperial factions, many of which did not want to clone Palpatine after Operation Cinder. So I reckon, if what you're saying is true, and there are other Imperial factions, which Giancarlo Esposito kind of teased in Toronto last year, they could be trying to intercept what he wants the most, i.e. rule of Mandalore, for whatever reason, just to piss him off.
Yeah. I mean, I keep going back and forth on Gideon's motivations when I just try to like take the whole thing apart, and I'm of the opinion that he just wants to wield Mandalore as a weapon, and then as it becomes more prominent, as he sees it start to come back, I think that's when his interest is. I don't think it's just revenge. Like, you got me locked up. That seems a bit, you know, kind of candy-assed, you know. But he's also not a Thrawn, and I don't think we're going to learn that. So, don't really know what to make of it yet. But
that's the fun, isn't it?
That is the fun. That is the like week to week fun. And before we go on too much too, I think this episode I think it could age better than it is on a week to week kind of thing. It might be one where when you have, you know, 8 seasons of the show, you're like, oh yeah, the Pershing one is kind of fun. I want to watch that one. It might be that. I don't know. It definitely is a standout episode though. That's the one thing that right now I'm going to give it credit on, is it's not what I was expecting. It's not something that they've done before. It's not just, you know, Mando and the baby walk into a bar and then what happens, you know what I mean? Which it has its place and is fun, but I also feel like it's been done. And I don't really need too much more of that to, you know, the first 2 seasons, I think, gave me a lot of that. So now I think we're moving more into the macro story area of it. And I do think that a lot of like the real casuals are going to start to fall off of the show from that.
Jason, let me ask you this. After this episode, you finished watching the episode, did you have the urge to watch it again? because with me, chapter 17, the first episode of the new season, I want to watch it again straight after and after and after. This one, I have no intention to rewatch it. Did you feel the need? Like, do you want to rewatch it again?
I've seen it 3 times, so
Really?
I was able to stomach it 3 times. Yeah. So so I don't really have a huge problem with it. I watched it last night, and then when I went to bed, I put it on. So I watched about 2.5 times. I don't think I finished the very end of it. I think I fell asleep by the end of last night. And then when I woke up, Penny, my son, could stay up. He's a little older. He took a nap, was able to stay up and watch it with me at midnight. And I let him do it because it's like, why not? It's fun. Straight A student. Let's do it. But my daughter couldn't stay up, so we woke up early and we watched it again this morning. And so but I didn't. It wasn't tedious to me. It was interesting to me to watch it not knowing what's going on, and then to watch it and then knowing what the eventualities of and why the popsicle shit is super fucking creepy when you know what's actually going on. She took that stupid motherfucker out, gave him cookies, and gave him a fucking popsicle, and the motherfucker bought everything she was saying. Hook, line, and sinker. He's a fucking idiot. And he's like being manipulated by her, but it's so fucking stupid, like on his part. And he's very simple. So, anyways, though, the robots are coming after them. We get to the shipyard. They do that little thing where they jump. The train sequence was fine. I'm a little like Star Wars has done its train sequences now, so I'm a little bit like, okay, I'm good with that.
We're at the end of the train. Shit. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, man. Like,
yeah, I didn't actually appreciate the Aladdin trust me and they hold hands to make the jump.
Yeah.
No, how about we just jump? It's yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
We're trying to be inconspicuous. Let's just stare at the robots that are staring back at us and then run in a guilty manner across.
Yeah. Well, no, remember, he's an idiot. She's fine. She's the agent.
But it's right, but we don't know that as the audience. So I have to go at that moment with the logic of what they're going through. Right?
But if you want to go if you want to go with the logic of what they're going through, she should have called the fucking robot, said, "Here he is. Get him."
Right.
He's already broken his probation. So
like, what's the point of having like people? We'll get to it. I don't
want. Well, the fun of it is we get to jump off of a moving train.
Okay.
and we get this cool shot of a good shot.
This is giant, volume wall with the crane that can lift up. Gives you the scale. I imagine this looked even better if you were on set, right? Like being able to see this, like probably looked pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
How well it translates to here, it just looks like a cool visual effect shot, right? But
yeah, it is cool.
Although when they got here, I'm like, how are they supposed to carry all this shit back if they can't even get on a train? Like what stuff are they going to get? Like, and we eventually see it, but this is what's going through my head right now. Like, I guess he doesn't. Plus, his glasses never fly off when they jump off a whole train. He's got the world's most steadiest glasses of all time, dude. Like, I don't want to bring physics into it, Jason. I'm an educated man who shouldn't be bringing education
Star Wars
to
glasses. Star Wars glasses use thermomolecular molecules.
He made a little noise, Rob, in that one scene. So they stuck to his head, like thunk, right? It made the Revenge of the Sith thunk thing on his fucking
Now
face.
we agree that you sound dumb.
It's solved. It's solved. It's stupid. Like, you got me. Like,
hey. How does Indiana Jones's hat stay on? Don't give a fuck.
It doesn't stay on. He has to. That's the whole point. Like, he had to grab it under the door. Remember?
One time.
Thing's filled with chiggers. Jesus, this
chittering.
place is filthy.
Chittering. I like chittering.
Oh, those things scare me, dude. Those little pincher bugs.
Yeah. Are those like actual things that are just like infesting it, or do those things like eat it and break it down? I started getting a little cyberpunky on it. I was like, is that just a rodent, so to speak, or
it's a rodent? Because if it was eating stuff, then it would be eating through. Like, these bugs would be eating all of Coruscant, right?
I don't know.
Every metal thing.
Well, I mean, maybe maybe deactivate them. I don't know. Star Wars, but yeah. So
the concept art for this scene was better, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the episode,
yeah.
There's the last 2 sequences on this series. The concept art was way better than what they ended up shooting. I'm curious to know what the the translation was.
Well, I think the translation is the volume of work, clearly.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
Yeah,
like there's
effort.
just so much. Well, I mean, you only have so much time to make the show. You know, if you could have forever to get something like as perfect as can be, I think they did I think it's still I think for a Disney Plus television show, I still give it an A. You know, this isn't Kenobi.
No, the last
You know what I
scene
mean?
only had 2 humans in the concept art. They had a Moncal, and the other one, and other people in costume, was easier to make the concept art.
I actually think the end set for where the Mando cult is, where the armor is, I think that looks like fucking Knott's Berry Farm. I don't think it looks good.
Yeah, it looks like the Kenobi cave.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I was
look
telling
good.
you. Lens flare.
Yeah, I got that in there for you guys. A little bit of JJ is like, oh, I came.
No,
drink.
no.
I'm
Noel's
I want to
lens
drink
flares.
it.
Remember, they made that. They made Noel's lens flares for the Phantom Menace. So every lens flare is a digital lens flare. I had that stupid plugin.
Yeah, and then
So this is weird, right? So let's say the reverse logic here. You're setting the dude up because you want to see if he'll see something, and we have to get him caught in the act. Why have officers go into the fucking ship with their flashlights so you run out? You don't turn your flashlights off, right? It's like you're running out, and then you have them run all the way out, and I don't know. It's just, again, it's like an
once
end
again,
sequence in search of
it's for
bit.
dramatic conceit. Otherwise, you would
hear
just let him get back to the house and wait for him to walk up to his porch and put the cuffs on him. I mean, that's what a cop would have done.
Right.
In reality, they wouldn't have got in the helicopter and went and did it. But I guess you could also say that maybe they're trying to make it traumatic for him. Therefore, he learns what happens when you don't fall in line. You know what I mean? They are still a society. There is still some, like we're seeing, oppression, even in a healthy society, whether it's healthy or not. There's going to be oppression. There's going to be some sort of consequence for not doing what they want you to do.
They don't have entrapment laws when a cop tells you to keep doing something and keeps you doing.
Not when you're
and take this. I don't
know.
Yeah,
not when you're probably being charged with ethics violations.
She opened the door. It'd be one thing
release.
if we went back and he had opened the doors and he had unlocked everything, and she was just suggesting things, but she actually opens the doors. And like if a cop walks you into a bank, opens up the vault, takes the money out, hands it to you, tells you to put it in your bag, and then arrests you, I don't know if that's going to fly in court, man. I just don't know about that one.
Rob, remember, he doesn't get due process from this. He just goes into therapy. He's probably already signed. He's probably already signed away his rights for that shit. Is what I'm thinking. But but this is also to like show us what it looks like when dopey New Republic officers like arrest you with their fucking mittens on, ready to take a chicken pot pie out of the oven and feed it to you like it's mom.
You're gonna summon the ghosts of holiday specials past. You bring that up, Jason. Don't.
Yeah.
Glasses never come off though.
When he bought those glasses, he was like, do I seem like John Lennon when I have them? Like, do I seem like really cool? And everyone's like, yeah, sure, dude. Like, cool. But and then right here, in case there was like any wondering, is she a good guy at all? No, she's not even a little bit. And it's like, and I saw somebody saying, was she turning it up because she thought he needed more? I was like, no, she's turning it up because she's gonna fucking eat a cookie because she's a sadist. She's evil, and when he goes into
leave those glasses on at all times, even when you don't need it.
No, they actually take him off. They actually take him off of him, Rob. You could let it go.
No, they put those on in the goggles, right?
Oh, he gets new cool glasses. Yeah, cool 80s guy glasses. But when he goes in at first, I watched the scene, like I actually rewinded it and I looked at it, and I think there is maybe a little euphoria when he first starts it. Like it is like actually like a good thing.
Yeah, he's smiling.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he's smiling, but he's like sort of like, I don't know. I think he's jizzing.
He's like, we're all just drinking cum in here. Like a big, Snoopy snow cones with the cum makers. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, so it's like it could help soothe traumatic memories and that kind of jazz. So this is sort of like I was saying in Meg's Discord today. I'm like, I kind of read the scene as like when you are mentally ill and you get electroshock and then you feel better. It can be good for you, but But it also the Empire, the way that they do it is they turn that shit up to 10 and turn it into like a torture device, like Pinochet would have used in Chile.
Kane grew up watching Return to Oz. She's like, yeah, just electrocute him. It's fun. Like, just like shock therapy. It's good times. It's forever. This is the worst voice I've ever heard in a Star Wars show. I'm going to be honest with you. This one really this annoyed me to no end. I'm like, I don't want to be the dude, man. I don't want to go on the show and tell everyone. I love the man. This is the worst voice. Yeah. Before this, it was the one on Boba Fett, right? Was it?
Kenobi, the truck, Kenobi.
Yeah, the Kenobi one. Yeah, you got me on that one. Yeah. The problem is I remember the Larry version where he just goes, ah! Like, I'm like, that is funny. No, you're right. The Kenobi one. This is so bad. And again, this right here, the concept art was better. Where it was just 2 humans and the Mind Flayer was black. It was Imperial looking, and they totally flipped it around. This is way more effort. I don't know. Like, but this.
Well, we saw in the episode that like he's wanting to salvage Imperial equipment because it could be used for good. It's not garbage. It's still something that like actually as a tool could be used. And they're like, nah, we're just gonna do away with all of it. So I'm guessing that like this is a product of that design queue. I don't know.
Does that make sense? The new Star Tours ride, the Mind Flayer.
The Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
But once again, this moment though, I don't think it was forced. I think this scene was going to be written just like this for the most part, either way. And then I think that if they made it the Mon call, which then made it meta, which then people groaned about, but ultimately I think it's like, I think your average person just watching Star Wars and watching this moment, and I don't think it will.
I wish I could be an average person who didn't know any better.
But check him out. It was a trap. Look at his dumb face.
I know.
It was a trap.
Just
look at his dumb face. But yeah. The actual, I think the problem with this sequence wasn't even necessarily the voice. It was the amount of dialogue given to the puppet. You never really see Admiral Akbar start talking about his past and what he went through or anything like that. He just goes, "Oh no! Oh shit! It's a trap!" Oh! It's just shit like that. And
Solo should have been about a beer run. Like, yeah, whatever.
Whereas this one, he's like, "Let me tell you about the time I was."
Let me tell you about the time I watched old Kenobi tried to Mind Flayer. It felt pretty good.
Yeah.
This fucking dude, the dumbest hat in Star Wars.
I hate what he did to Ted Lasso when he fucked over Ted Lasso. That was so fucking fucked up, man.
Hey man, that starts up tonight. I can't wait to
start up last night. Lasso
season 3.
You're late.
Huh?
I was on last night.
I'm not late. I went to bed on time, bitch. Me and your kids, we learned to go to bed on time, Jason. Stay up late.
You're a fake Ted Lasso man. We watched Ted Lasso and then Mando. No, it was up last night.
Ted Lasso fan because I went to sleep.
Yeah, big fan.
You got me. I'm the one who made you watch it, but okay.
Yeah. Now the student has surpassed the master.
I mean,
now I am the master.
You're a real credit to this program, Jason.
No, but he did remind me of that guy though, like that little swarmy guy who fucks over Ted Lasso. He's kind of yeah. And then we see him right. Like this should give him some relief.
Leave you in here with the controls.
Puts it at 3. And then right here he's like, yeah. I'm seeing puppies and unicorns and big
it's like
titties.
To watch Freezy in VR, right? Right? Right, little VR goggles. I think that's pretty close. Look at that face.
That is Freezy. Oh, there he is. There's Freezy in VR. Yeah, that might be Freezy.
Freezy.
Oh, why did you tell us?
Now imagine you, Cher, and Celine Dion. This what? What?
Yeah. I'd rather not. Appreciate it, though.
You watching transition porn in the VR? All right. So, anyways, then she turns that shit up. Look at the dials. She has some old bass, treble, and mid dials from an old stereo there, and but she turns the dial up, and then he's like, "Oh no, my memories." But I kind of think I almost like. Wondering if there's going to be some ramifications for this. Like does she do that? He loses his memories, but they will come back. Like you will work back through them. And does he start working back through them? And while he's doing it, he starts spilling the beans about what's going on with all of the shit. And some people are going to believe him and some people aren't going to believe him because they
Or
think
will he literally spill a can of Imperial beans on the floor? Because
Oh.
Favreau likes memes, right?
Hey.
Clever.
Maybe. But yeah.
I've been really critical of this dude's writing since Boba Fett, just so y'all know. Like, I gave it all a huge pass until that season. I'm like, nope.
Jason,
you're getting under the old scrutiny here.
I can't wait till Mando comes back so people don't think I hate Star Wars.
You warned me. You warned me. You warned me.
I told you.
Boba Fett changed everything for me. I'm like, I'm not up for it.
I like Mandalorian. It's just not as good as people say it is. It's really fun, but it's not that fucking deep.
Not as good as season 1 and 2, that's for sure. Wow.
You know what I mean? It's like it just the warts were hidden behind the simplicity of the scenarios. But now once you get 3 seasons into a show, you can't keep being that simple. Like it's got to start, getting more into the bigger world and the bigger lore. And I think like a lot of fans are going to be in, and then some people are going to be out because I think the people that like got into this because Grogu was cute are going to be out. Like pretty hard 100%. On it. But also, for what it's worth, the ratings thing that's going around is actually fucking stupid, and people are misinterpreting all of that shit completely wrong. They're like, oh, Kenobi, had like a huge numbers and it didn't beat Kenobi, but it's like Kenobi's Obi-Wan fucking Kenobi with like 40 years of lore and fans behind it to build up to that show. This is a Boba Fett knockoff, and Boba Fett does really, really well because it's fucking Boba Fett, who also has years of lore behind him and the name behind him. And then this comes out and does the same as Boba Fett, beating its old records. And people are like, oh, the show's canceled. It's done. And it's like, no, you were wrong. You're actually really stupid. This is the show actually growing. The show has grown, and you're saying it's a failure. How do you win with that fucking logic? It's impossible. That's what I had to say. But look at this psycho. She eats a fucking cookie while she's eating the cookies that she fucking baited him with while she fucking fries his brain. So right there, that's how we know she's a Gideon girl. And there is a conspiracy to cover Gideon's tracks, Palpatine's tracks, Snoke's tracks, the First Order's tracks, however you want to look at it. And she's there on the inside. And if you think about it, she's actually a pretty good place to put an asset like that.
I love all these ideas, Jason. I love all these ideas. I don't like the execution.
Okay,
I don't like the execution at all. Like, it's a bummer because when you're like, these ideas are great, it's just, man, it's just a bummer that you just didn't get a few more people. I don't know, like it's double the episode length, I guess, or whatever you got to do. But look, man, if it's the highest rated season of Mando ever, and they just keep doing it, then
it's the opposite. This was like one of the longest episodes ever. And the more that you give people, the more they bitch. The less you show them, the more their mind fills in, and then they think it's great. I mean, that's just the truth. That's what happens with Star Wars.
Well, I'm telling you, you could have took this stuff and just interlaced it with the last 2 episodes and evened out that 38 to 45 to 59 and sort of given it an even 45 across the board. I guess
it's also a TV show. It's a TV show though too, and that's where you take detours and where you explore shit like what was Pershing's Day like on Tuesday, or what do they call it?
Yeah, but the execution of it is, I don't know. Like, hey man, I'm glad Star Wars Santa loves everything.
Why are you blaming Santa? I love it. I love the episode
because he came in here talking shit. But
okay,
that's what he gets.
Yeah, but
visual effects on this were brilliant. So.
Yeah. I love her ship too. I love both of these ships. The N1 was like my favorite ship from the prequels. And her ship is my favorite ship from the Clone Wars, that style of Mando ship, and like I like seeing them together.
Something else that dawned on me. So when he went to Paley Moto for that R5 unit to get the part for IG-11, right? And then she goes, no, you take R5. He goes, I don't got anywhere on my ship for an R5 droid.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, where the fuck were you going to put an IG-11 droid? Like, it's just out of curiosity. Like,
it's going to fold up
when
like
you got
IG.
him working. when you got him working, what was your plan to shove him in that fucking thing? Like, just out of curiosity.
In the Menace, we see what the battle droids do. That's probably what he'll do. They're probably like, you know, how they unfold.
But he would take up the same amount of space as an R5 droid, right? Like if he folds over and grabs his own, like he's gonna take a shit, right? Like I'm not being mean, but if he does that squat technique where he grabs his knees, that's about the same size as an R5 droid. I don't know about that line when I'm like, but your whole plan was to take a droid somewhere. He's gonna go in the pod where the droids go. I don't know. It's just one of those things where you're like, would you really would that character be thinking that? I don't know.
You know what? It's not even an issue because they didn't do it. And when
I had that same conversation with myself, and I go, "Do I bring it up on the show?"
Yeah,
I'll bring it up on the show. So I'll just be that guy everyone hates, you know.
No, and because I mean, I think I'm guessing when we get the IG-11 stuff later, he just rides in. He just goes in Bo-Katan ship. So kind of like I was surprised we got back to his ship at all. I kind of didn't think we were going to. I thought they would just sort of streamline them together from this point on, but nope. And then
your favorite.
So this guy, one thing I think of note here, if you're following along, is everybody, you know, he's the one who's always talking shit. He's the one who's like, Din, you're a fucking failure. Yeah. But when everybody's getting patted on the back for coming back into the cult, he's the only one who doesn't do it.
Yeah, he gives him a little look too, right? He's
gonna like turn on them or some shit. Jason, do you think he's gonna like tell Gideon?
He lost the last time he tried, right? Last episode he picked a fight with him. Remember?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm just like, yeah, they fight and they train fight and what do you call it? Like and they fight in the first season of the show. So I see it as going two ways. Either they actually duke it out and we get a Robin Hood with Little John kind of friendship that forms out of this kind of thing, or he's going to see that they're rising in the ranks and he's going to probably betray them to Gideon and then try to do what they always do, which is fucking civil war it and separate, and then that'll be the end of him.
Probably. Maybe he'll get the eye of the Eiger, right? Like, they'll do that training. They'll run together on the beach or something. Yeah. Look at that. I love that one. When I saw that, when this happened, I'm like, Jason's going to snap this. I know. He's got his hands over. He's doing the Superman codpiece bit. He's doing the head tilt. It's perfect.
He's doing it. Yeah. And then right here, he's like, I have a vial of my cum. I'm here. They're drinking this on Coruscant now.
Were you just giving oral nuts all kind of like, you know what I mean?
No, Jason, there's a deleted scene in this episode that no one saw. Mm-hmm. They were on Bo's gauntlet, and Mando's like, "Oh shit, I forgot to take a sample of the living waters." Mm-hmm. And then he's like, "Well, Bo, I know you drank that Dr. Pepper a while back. You got any in the tank?" She's like, "All right, give me a second." So it's kind of lucky that Paz Vizsla and all the armorer took a sip of it.
He's like, "Hey, Bo, I gotta be honest with you. When I was hanging out with the Action Jackson, we partied kind of hard and did a little bit of cocaine. Can you pee in this for me? So when I go back to the covert and they test my pee, I pass." And then there you go.
Exactly.
Honestly, I just thought it was a Wookiee's tampon, like, because it's pretty big, dude. You know, like,
also, what was the armor looking for? Like, when the armor takes the sample and pours it into the cauldron, like, what is she looking for specifically?
Memes. She sees memes.
Mandalorians.
No, yeah, that's what I think. Because
living waters.
It's called the living waters. So I'm guessing that there's some sort of like microorganism or something in the water that like identifies it, you know. And obviously when she puts it into the cauldron and to the forge thing, it reacts in a way I think that signifies that's what it is. So there's probably something at some expanded universe book that I'm never going to read that explains exactly why that makes sense, but I have no idea.
Also, no offense, Jason, you ever go into a lake? Right? Yeah. I did once when I was a kid. You don't wash that shit off, you're going to smell like that lake for a fucking week, dude. Like,
oh yeah.
They should be reeking right about now. Like, they
lakes
can just
are mossy.
Smell that. You know, you should be like, oh fuck, dude! Like you smell like a Gordian's dick. You know what I mean? Like, just
that was
mossy and like
the water scenes. I was wondering if they filmed the underwater scenes at El Dorado Park, because there is like a man-made lake there that's really gross and dirty, and kind of
the underwater was really good.
Yeah, I wondered if they
compared
filmed
to like
that
the
there,
Kenobi shots. It was
or
super good.
or if they just did the old tarp down and filled up a hole with water kind of trick. Who knows?
I know one thing though. Santa was very entertained, as he says in his comment.
Oh,
He still doesn't like the prequels though, Meg. You figured that one out. Like you figured that one out.
I did.
Yeah.
Confused. I'm confused.
And in case you guys were wondering, he really does have that cum in that vial. He shows it again. He keeps showing it. He's like, he can't stop. He's like, look, everybody.
Want to listen to some Moby?
He fell into the depths and I pulled him out, she says. And so
says, yeah.
right here, so right here, she is literally that's big though, because the assumption was she was going to run to them saying, guys, Mythosaur's back. It's a thing. Like everybody, like it's real. We it's a big deal. But in actuality, she's withholding that for herself. There's some power in that she realizes that she doesn't want to tell them yet, or if she's even going to. I still think it's going to be a season finale surprise. I still think they're going to be fighting Gideon on that lake. Everything's going to seem like it's like all is lost, and I think she's going to bust out of that ice lake on that monster, and then be the true ruler at that point. Like that's my working theory, and I'm sticking to it.
So Jason,
I think she's pregnant.
Oh shit.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, I think Bo-Katan is pregnant because if Din gives her his living waters and he went into the depths, didn't pull out.
Right.
The only guy she was with the whole episode alone was Grogu. Like, I'm just going to be honest, unless she's a groomer.
He's 50. I mean, he's 50 years old. What do you want?
He's just, Chris, you know what it's like to date a little person who's 50, right?
All right. Willow got canceled today. I don't want Willow coming after me.
Where do the crusty old dudes fit into the whole story now? Like, what are they going to be like against? I don't like where do you see them fitting into the plot?
Wait, who?
The crusty old dark man and the white man.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have the covert is growing. There's some big Mandos coming. There's some other men. Do I have water? The hell's going on here? There's some Mandos coming in future episodes that are going to be a big deal.
And in a couple of days, I'm going to be gloating about something.
Meg, did you get pregnant in the living waters too?
You know it.
Technically, cum is living water, right? Like, let's just be thinking about it for a second. Like,
dude, I'm drinking water.
And Bo-Katan even asks Din if he enjoyed it. She's like, did you see anything down there? He's like, you've been out here for, I'm not going to say it. It's YouTube, but...
Careful, Meg. They record these shows, It's going to be there forever.
Yeah, Din, you are redeemed. And then she redeems her and says, until then, you're one of us. And as Bespin brought up earlier on in the show, he has video of her without her helmet on fighting axe wolves.
So probably like the last scene of the season will probably be the armor forging her new Mythosaur armor, maybe.
And I think that Katie Sackhoff was pregnant during this season, and putting the helmet on might be sort of a way of maybe dealing with that logistically. I don't know if 100% that's what it is, but that's an assumption on my part. So, but yeah, so for now, for the mid-season, she's one of them, and we know that's not gonna stick forever. But so welcome Bo-Katan of Clan Kryze. So there we go. So, but we're gonna have that's made a weird noise. We just had we know that we're gonna have more clans joining up that are gonna be found somehow. We're gonna have people from all over the Star Wars mythos that are related to that stuff showing up. And I think Meg had a fun theory. I don't know if you're the originator of the theory, but I'm going to cite you as the person who told it to me or asked me. You're like, do you think Christopher Lloyd is her dad? That's what you asked me the other day. And I was like, wow, that would be interesting if she seems to have reverence for him. So if he is alive, that would be like a big, revelation that he's alive. But also like there would have to be something weird where he's like, abandons his daughter and stuff like that. But I'm like, it could be. It could
My
go that
theory is
way.
that it was in a flashback to the clan wars, so he doesn't need to be alive in the timeline.
Okay.
But do you know if Christopher Lloyd's character is in the present day?
Yeah, that's that. Well, this is the whole thing. This is the thing that I need to clarify is that I know that there's the crusty old white clan leader and the old dark skinned clan leader, and that they're in opposition, and then they come together. That stuff was filmed at the same time that was being filmed. Christopher Lloyd is cast. So I believe that my belief, not my no 100%, is that there was a stand-in for Christopher Lloyd because he's an older man now. He's not going to do every single thing that he doesn't need to do. Is that Christopher Lloyd is that same character, but for a lot of those moments, that was not Christopher Lloyd. So I don't have a smoking gun that Christopher Lloyd is in fact the clan leader. That's not 100% like right there. That's sort of like circumstantial evidence and based off of the fact that they were filming in the same spots and stuff like that. So I would love to have like that smoking gun on that. But for all I know, he's a completely different character. For all I know, he's Pershing's mad scientist, Pershing's replacement. You know, it could go that way. But I do know that a dark-skinned and a light-skinned clan leader will come into play here, and they will be in opposition, and then they will be united, is what I was told.
Do you think he'll get a cat? Pershing's cat?
No.
But you think he'll... Because Favreau likes puns, right? Like, he'll get a cat.
A lost cat? One of those
He'll
weirdo lost cats?
Pershing's cat. Yeah.
Sorry, I accidentally screen capped the bottom of the player there. but at the end, we have Bo-Katan, who's now, though, she's in the cult. She's looking at the mythosaur. She didn't tell them. She withheld it. She deceived Din about his experience. And has the secret knowledge that that thing is real and that prophecy is coming true. What does it mean? I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think it's going to be a secret trump card at the end that she's going to pull out and use it to like save the day. But apparently, she has no interest in telling them this episode. So I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on that, or are you just like where I'm at with it?
I'll let you guys speak if you want.
Maybe.
You have any thoughts on it?
Oh, now Rob will let people speak when nobody wants to. I'm kidding, Rob.
Go ahead and talk, Jason.
No, it's yours. I threw it to you, man.
I don't know how restoring Mandalore is like a big deal. Like, I'm saying it can be. I'm just saying like it's not like a. Hey, did you see Last of Us when they restored a city? I don't know if that's a story that you hook a whole audience on.
Don't you want to make America great again?
It's just a lot of people standing there going, "Should we do? We should do. We should bring glory." That's not like an antagonist. It's not a driving thing. So, I think like I guess if Gideon comes back and then he wants everyone wants Mandalore, but it's just been sitting there the whole fucking time. So it's like I don't know, man. It's filled with Morlocks and Grievouses. You know, so like I don't know, right? Yeah. Like it's got a bunch of Grievouses and Morlocks and
wasn't the whole premise of this show to the restoration of Mandalore, and now we're into that. That was the whole premise of the show. So,
but I would think these clans would actually be physically fighting, but they're not. Like it'd be one thing if they were like at war with one another. They're just at like argumentative it's like, hey, it's my lawn, apostate, get off it. You know, like it's like I don't know. It'd be if they were really at war.
Rob,
it'd be one thing.
Rob, just keep watching this show. We're not there yet.
Oh, I have no choice. Like I got
no, but I mean the conflict and the unification is going to happen. You know what I mean? It's not
they execute great, but that's just my thought on it right now. Is like
based off of your vibes about everything, I'm going to say that there is no execution that you're going to like from Jon Favreau at this point.
Like not true.
I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. We'll see.
Not true.
We'll see. But really quickly, Willow was canceled after season 1 on Disney Plus. This is a Deadline exclusive. There will be no second season of Willow, Disney Plus's live-action original series based on the 1988 fantasy film directed by Ron Howard. The news comes 2 months after the 8-episode first season of the show, which served as a sequel to the classic movie, ended its run on the streaming platform. Willow, which picked up years after the events of the film, did not have the zeitgeist cultural impact of the original, but was well received by critics. Those were fucking, at first, the first fucking little deceiving glimpse, getting an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. While the series won't continue, Willow remains an important IP in the Lucasfilm library, so it may be revisited in the future. I don't fucking think so after a failed series and a film that didn't underperformed. The news comes as Lucasfilm has been releasing its film slate, reassessing its film slate, taking time to identify the next movie in the Star Wars franchise, which they've already done. That's not true. Meanwhile, the company has built a sizable Star Wars TV footprint on Disney Plus, with such series as the live-action hit The Mandalorian and the upcoming Ahsoka, Acolyte, and Skeleton Crew, as well as animated fare. The cancellation also comes amid increased scrutiny at the media companies, including Disney, which has been curbing streaming content spending in search of profitability. Willow introduced new characters and is set in a world where brownies, sorcerers, trolls, and other mystical creatures flourish. No, they actually, in the series, existed in a world where they mocked them and didn't appreciate anything about the majesty of the troll. An unlikely group of heroes set on a dangerous quest to places far beyond their home, where they must face their inner demons and come together to save their world. And then it says the cast, blah, 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 blah. Jonathan Kasdan, who let me down, blah, 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 blah. And Michelle Rejuan, who's gone, blah, 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 blah. And Bob Dolman, who said that the experience was like having somebody look over your shoulder the whole time. It's done. So that's that. Willow didn't work. It's broken. They'll probably never revisit it ever again. But the only positive side to it being canceled, the positive side of it not being canceled was maybe they would fix it. Maybe it would course correct and have this huge blemish on it. But my take is, with it going this way, maybe someday they just sweep this under the rug and do it again, but probably not in my lifetime. So bye, Willow. Nice knowing you.
Jason, Chat GPT-4 is just waiting for you to write your own Willow fan fiction. You can get all the unlimited Willow stories.
Chat GPT to write my fanfic. I could do it myself. Willow comes home, takes off his boots. Kaya, where's my fucking chicken wings? That's scene 1. But I'm kidding, obviously. But yeah. Anyways, I liked the episode of Mando. It was fucking weird. It was strange. I think that, like, it was an experiment. How close can you do the Western Star Wars, fucking Mando thing, and how close can you put the Andor kind of, slice of life fucking story in it? And I don't know if it actually like truly works, but it's weird. I think it was a brave attempt. I think it was a fun experiment. I think the TV shows are the places to try different things and weird things. And, was it the most exciting episode of the season or of the series? Not for me, but Chris won't be watching it again, I don't think, anytime soon, unless he does a whole series rewatch and decides I'm going to power through it. Rob, you
I gotta watch it with the wife, so I have to watch it.
But watch it again. Well, no, when you watch it again, look at it from the perspective of knowing what happened, though, like knowing what's actually going on, like what the motivations are. It's not a bad second rewatch for that way. It might mitigate the shit for you. And Meg, are you with us? Are you still here, Meg? We got you, Miss Biscuit. Yeah, what were your like closing? Yeah, any closing thoughts on the episode before we go?
I really like it. I'd say I probably like it more than most people did, but that's because I live for the cloning stuff in Star Wars generally. Like when they said Palpatine's back for Rise of Skywalker, I was so excited. I read those Dark Empire comics back in the day where Luke discovers that Palpatine's alive somehow. That's always intrigued me, so I'm here for it. And I think, as you were saying, we've not seen the fruition of where this leads. So hopefully it's one of those things where you look back and you're like, I want to watch that Pershing episode again.
Yeah. I've seen it 3 times. I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it. So but we have 4 people here. 2 liked it. 2 could probably do without it, apparently. So I'm gonna say not the most successful fan or crowd pleaser of an episode. But I think if it pays off, that's the other thing. If it lays groundwork that I see coming to play as the series goes on in interesting ways, then I'll be like, okay, that was worth it. That weird day, that weird exposition is, it was cool. And Bespin Bulletin, who would not come on the show because he's a fucking stuck up bitch, says, I've seen it twice. I like it more than episode 1. You mean the Phantom Menace, or you like it more than the first episode of the season? and I'm sorry about calling you a bitch, Bespin. I'm just kidding. But yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, before we go,
I have a Spreezy exclusive, not a Making Star Wars exclusive, because if it's wrong, I don't want you to get like the blame and all that. So if it's wrong, it's all on me.
This is a Spreezy exclusive.
I have an exclusive.
Okay. We call this a Spreezy spray.
Yeah. So please don't blame Jason if it's wrong. But I strongly believe, in 99.9% sure, that Cobb Vanth is in season 3.
Yeah.
And you just made my day.
I'm glad.
Is this a feeling, or did somebody tip you off to this?
Someone tipped me off to that he's in season 3. I don't know what he does. I don't know where he goes. But my personal opinion, and this is just straight out me, is he will be the new Marshal of Navarro.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot back that up, but I am 99.99% sure that he's in season 3. And that is a Spreezy exclusive. So if it's wrong, it's not
a Spreezy spray.
It's on me. But
it's no longer Freetown, it's Cum Town. This is where we make all the cum. Come we get it.
I've also
I've
heard that
pretty confident that if I'm wrong, Rob, I'll live stream Taco Bill.
Don't. When you lose bets, you welcher. Don't even go there.
I lost one bet.
I've got an exclusive, by the way. I think Chris is in the next episode. Chris is really the Marshal of Navarro. He's just saying that because then he's got his character's name is Vob Canth, so he makes us think it's Cobb Vanth, but really he's like, no, I'm the real Marshal.
No, it's me.
That's what I think he'll be the Marshal of Navarro. I cannot back that up, but I've been told that he's in season 3.
So 2 things. We're gonna call those Spreezy sprays, and your catchphrase is "Say it, don't spray it." Okay, that's what we're going with.
But I only said that now because Bestman's in the chat, so he's gonna write an article. Not he never.
Well, did you get that? Did you get that information from the Hot Mic? Did you give Hot Mic $100 and they told you 2 weeks later?
Yeah, 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later, they told him, we're not answering all these questions. It's too much.
Yeah.
That was the best. I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so sorry. I would have warned you against 100 at once. Like, if you just asked me, I would have told you, don't do that. Like,
be clear. If people want to give me $100, I will sit here and meticulously go over every dollar of your super chat. And yeah, because you know what? That's why I don't make the big money. I don't nag you guys enough. Best business was hot. Like I cover it.
I don't know if you guys saw on Instagram, but Rosario Dawson is in the next Mando episode, Ahsoka.
Oh, she confirmed it?
I'm serious. I'm actually serious. Go to Rosario Dawson's Instagram. She said, I Jones for the next Mando episode, .. This is the way.
Yeah, but that could just be her being supportive, right?
But next week is Filoni and Favreau's episode.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
She's talking about chapter 20.
Okay, I'm pulling it up right now. Sario's looking good. She's staying busy. She's got 5. Wait, it's her like her newest her newest post. Is she in front of like a season 3 sign?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, Instagram, it wants to make you like sign in and get body metric data and everything before it'll let you click on the image. One sec. No, I have her doing my best Wonder Soka impression for this Wonder Woman Wednesday. That's what I'm getting. Did she already delete it?
No, that's not the one.
Is it a real?
I'm looking at it right now. Can I send it to you?
Yeah. Just send it to me in the chat right here. Because I'm like clicked on that shit and it's like being like, oh.
I sent on Discord.
Okay, let me see. Let's see what's going on here. Wait, yeah. It says okay. Wait. Where does she say this though?
Literally in the text post.
I see doing my best impression this Wonder Woman Wednesday as I jones for the next Mando episode. Okay, so that's
yeah. She's definitely teasing something.
Here, let me see. Here it goes.
For me, it's the fact that Filoni and Favreau co-wrote the next episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe I'm being too optimistic. I don't know.
No, you're not because I mean, if she's not in it, she's trolling into to some extent because she has like a little fucking Ahsoka Tano thing in the corner with like you know that whole thing. So if she is it sharing? I just got my thing is being stupid. There it goes. This thing does what it wants sometimes because it's a piece of shit. But yeah, it definitely she does seem to be implying that she's in it. I mean, the little Ahsoka thing on the corner is what sells me on it. Other than that, I'm like, oh, she's just being supportive of the co-stars of the show that it's all intertwined as we move forward. But I hope she's in it. I don't mind seeing some fucking Ahsoka shit, but also if she is in it, oh boy, does it make what I think I know of Ahsoka as the model for that show a little more confusing? Because like
I don't see why she'd say the next episode of Mando.
Yeah,
instead of just Mando generally. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's like no, I mean this is definitely confusing. But and it's like how do we end up at Ahsoka? You know what I mean? Like and that moment, unless is Ahsoka does Ahsoka come into play with the arresting of Gideon and like what happens there or something? You know what I mean? Like is she involved in that? Do we see her like interacting with that element of this or what?
I have a theory.
But yeah, what is your
TIE
theory?
Interceptors today. If the TIE Interceptors were related to Thrawn, which some fans are saying, could that be like her chasing some breadcrumbs?
It's possible, but so what I would say, based off of what I think I know, if those ties, if they're anybody's that in terms of like the closest person to that location or whatever, Thrawn isn't sending TIE fighters out from where he's at to here at this point. So it would be Morgan Elsbeth who is behind that and has that stuff at her disposal. That's what I would theorize if that would be the case. But I wouldn't be surprised. But I have no idea. You know what I mean? That's just like a theory. But it's very strange. All right, everybody, we got to go. Time is up. We went 1 hour and 44 minutes for a Mando review. That's too long. That's too much cum drinking. That's too much Willow getting canceled and all kinds of other shit. But Meg, thanks for coming and hanging out with me today.
Thank you so much.
And Chris.
Thanks, Meg.
And Rob.
Thank you, Rob and Chris.
And sorry.
Sorry. Sorry, buddy.
Sorry.
Rob hates Star Wars. Rob's fandom menace. Okay,
I'm
we'll
gonna go back and rewatch Andor. I hate Star Wars so much. All right?
Yeah, do it.
I'm gonna leave that on all day.
Well, you know, you got to do that one thing like, I'm not sexist. Ahsoka's my favorite character.
No, I think that's the
I'm
one
kidding.
where they Mary sued the Star Wars universe, right? Like they gave a female character all the power, and she saved the Clone Wars and saved Anakin and Obi-Wan. She did all the things, right?
That didn't happen, Rob.
Right?
You sound dumb again.
Oh no.
All right, we'll be back
Okay.
tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to talk about the news du jour. And make sure you like the video. The show's also on Spotify and all that jazz. You know, if you want to listen to it as a podcast, and on Spotify, you could switch between a podcast and a video show. So if you're like, you know, hey, I'm watching the video, my boss is here, now it's a podcast, hit the button, you know, do whatever you want. But anyways, we'll see everybody tomorrow. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me. I hope everybody enjoyed the show or didn't. Let us know in the comments what you think. Like the video, and don't drink your own cum.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.